Okay, so we have seen then now what are the different architectures that we have been working on. We have the basic two-tier static server file servers, and we want to build a three-tier application. And we have now a goal of the application we want to create, which is going to be like this very basic apartment listing organizer that helps me see all of those elements. Okay, so let's get hands-on on starting to create something like that. So in order for us to do that, we are going to be starting creating some of the elements that we have in here. So let's go and do what we already know. So I'm going to open a new terminal in here, and then let me come to the desktop, and then I do have my web folder, and I'm going to create a new file, like a new folder, and that folder I'm going to call it. So I think I already created like a basic Express application. So oh no, yeah. Let me go and start. Let's start with what we know. With this the front end. So I'm going to call a folder, and I'm going to call it apartment finder. And actually, this is going to be a Node Express and ES6 apartment finder. I forgot to put the Mongo in there. So let me go and do that. And this is going to be like this ES6 application. Let's go right away and create that thing on GitHub. So I'm going to create a new project in here. Now you see why I have so many projects. So this is going to be Node Express ES6. The reason why I'm saying ES6 is because it's like ECMAScript 6, so it doesn't have like any framework like React or something. And this is going to be apartment organizer, current listings organizer. And this is going to be a simple example application. Come on. Let me go and write it again. So this is going to be a basic example uh, application to demonstrate Node plus Express plus ES6 with ESM modules and no Mongo application to help me sort apartment listings. Okay, so having done that, this is going to be a Node application, and then in here, this is going to be like MIT license. I can go and ask it to create a README because I don't have anything, and I can create it. Interesting enough, if you want to do with vibe coding, having the PRD or just like the user stories that we created, that could help you doing that. But for the moment, let's just do it from scratch so we can learn how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say this initialize this folder. Um, then I am going to say the git remote minus b. Oh, sorry, read remote add and then origin, and this is going to be my main origin, and then I'm going to say git pull origin main so I can get like the initial version, and I can open Visual Studio Code in there, and I have the readme and ooh, this is too small, and I have the readme and the license and the git ignore. Okay, so having done that, let me come in here and actually create a folder. And in this folder, I'm going to call it Frontend. And in that Frontend, I'm going to start creating my files. So we want to have an index.html file. Remember that we have this very basic design of what we want in there. So we can just go and implement that very easily in here. So remember, you can start with a basic HTML template. This is going to be my apartment listings finder, and I can come in here and I'm going to say I'm going to have a header, and inside that header I'm going to put the apartment listings finder. Okay, and then I'm also going to have a button in there that says upload listings. Okay, and then actually we can go. Yeah, let me do that right away. So since we are going to be using Bootstrap, like recommend you to be using Bootstrap, then we can go in here and then just include that. And for that, we are going to be just putting these, like adding the CSS line, and then we also need to add what is going to be the JavaScript file for that. Okay. So for the moment, I can just come in here, and then if I go into my front end, remember to not test just by double clicking on the file, and then I can just do this. Okay. So having done that, then the next thing is that since I'm using Bootstrap, then I'm going to put all of these inside a container, and then also this button is going to be a button, and then it could be a bottom primary outline or outline primary. So it's probably the other way around. Outline primary. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to have like my main content, and then I'm going to have my footer. And in my footer, I could just have a div that says made, um, yeah, made by John with, and then blah. Okay. So now I have that element in there, and in my main, I am going to have if I go back to my design, so basically I want to have like the titles and then the elements on the right. I probably should have like for the application that you need to implement for the project, you need to have a full CRUD. So remember that you can do create, remove, update, and delete. That's what CRUD stands for. We actually saw it when I was searching. I wonder if there is a documentation for CRUD. Yes. So it's the create, read, update, and delete, which are all of the different things that, like the different actions that you can do. So for each one, you have to have, each one of you has to have one table on Mongo that implements all of the four different elements or the four different like methods or actions. Okay. So what we did say is that we are going to have like these listings. So I can go and create like a row in here, and I'm going to have like a column 6, and I'm going to put in there like these are going to be my listings, and I can put like some lorem code in there, and then let me, am I using reload? Yes, perfect. So I did say I want some lorem code in there, and then apart from that, I'm going to have like a column 4. Actually, this should be a little bit bigger. Go and say this is going to be like a column 8, and this is going to be a column 4. Um, and then I can put in here listing details. I probably could go and say this is going to be like that one in there. And then I can have like, I don't know, like a card maybe, then put something in there. Yes. So, and then we are going to have those elements in there. And then actually we can go and say, a section in here that I'm going to have like listings, and probably not call it listings for the moment. And then, of course, I made a mistake. Yes, so make sure to get all of these. Oh, and by the way, I should also, I forgot to do something before doing that. And is that, remember, every time you create a JavaScript project, it is very important that you initialize that project. So I have this in here, and then, but that's where Express Generator could be useful. Okay, so for the moment, let's stay like the way we were going, um, and then reload minus v as we were doing. Okay, so let's carry on. So now we have this part, and then the other section I'm going to have is just, how did I call it in my little sketch here in Excalibur? Like it could be my visit plans. So this could be like an H2 visit plans, and then let's just make another card in there just because it has a border key. So it will show up more easily, and then just put some basic stuff in there. Okay. So for the moment I have that, and now I have my front end, like the very basics of the front end. For this front end, I could probably also create like another folder, which is going to be my CSS, another folder that is going to have my JavaScript, Then for my JavaScript, I am going to be loading it in here. Remember that you do that with something like this. I just add a script tag, and then I'm going to call it main.js. Or actually, let's call it frontend.js. And I'm going to have here my type, and I'm going to say it's going to be a type module. Okay. Remember that you need to say type module in here if you want on this file, on this front end, and I'm only calling it front end because it's easier to show you hello from the front end. So that way we can differentiate what parts of JavaScript are going to be running in here and what parts are going to be running um, in the backend. Okay. So, and then in here you can change whatever attribute you want, and you just load that in here, and we can do it like in here with that link, something like this. Okay. So if I do that, and then I open the developer tools, now we have this. This is what we did in the first project. You can go and get, for instance, like some code where we are running something here, but for the moment, that's it. Okay. So let me stop in there for the first part.